The biggest stage in women's cricket is finally set. And when I say biggest, I mean the biggest. 12 countries, 7 venues, 33 exciting matches, and a final at Lord's Cricket Ground on July 5th. The ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026 is almost here. Let's go through the squads, let's go through the pre-tournament analysis, and of course, my predictions. So, what makes this tournament different from all the other editions? Firstly, we've gone from 10 teams to 12 teams now, which means that there are two groups of 6 teams each, and each team plays 5 group games. Now, why this is so exciting is because this essentially levels the playing field. So teams like Netherlands and Scotland are on the same stage, are playing the same stage on the same level as Australia and India and England. And also, one upset in the group stage can really just throw the whole group wide open. So, as a big team, if you fumble in the group stage to one of the lower ranked teams, it can kill your campaign. And for the other team, it can mean everything. So the group stage is going to be brutal. Another reason that this World Cup is massive is that the prize pool has increased to $8.76 million. That's a 10% increase from 2024. And the winners take home $2.34 million. These are big numbers. These are massive numbers for women's cricket. Another thing worth talking about is that England are back as hosts. They hosted the inaugural T20 World Cup in 2009, which they won. And in 2017, they also hosted the ODI World Cup. And that World Cup really showed what hosting these events can do for women's cricket structures in the country. It really changed the landscape of women's cricket in England, and it really made it mainstream in a lot of ways. And on the other hand, when you look at this World Cup, the context is so rich this time because the competition has gotten really intense. India have just won the ODI World Cup in 2025, beating South Africa in the final, which means South Africa have now lost 3 ICC finals in a row. 2 T20 World Cup finals in 2023 and 2024, and then the ODI World Cup final in 2025. South Africa right now are not just dangerous, they're hungry, they're super hungry, and they are the team to beat in this World Cup. And to top it all off, New Zealand are the defending champions. Australia are 6-time champions, but they haven't won since 2020. So this context, this makes it so much more exciting because it's not just Australia and England now. It's teams like South Africa, New Zealand, India who are really, really, truly contenders for lifting the trophy. But who do I think are the strongest sides, and what are my predictions for this World Cup? Let's get into it. Let's start with Australia, the 6-time champions. They have a lot to prove, especially after the 2024 semi-final exit. They have a new captain, Sophie Molyneux, and there's going to be some pressure on her. She had a back injury a few months back, and then she stopped bowling for a while. Now she's looking like she's back in form in the warm-up against South Africa. She took a wicket on her first delivery. But this is going to be her first World Cup as captain, and she has really big shoes to fill after Alyssa Healy walked away. So there's going to be pressure on Australia, especially on the captain, because they haven't won a title in a while. But Australia are known to just dance through that pressure, and they know the pressure of the knockouts. They know what it's like playing in England. Their core, their star core is still there. If you look at their team, Elise Perry, Beth Mooney, Ashley Gardner, Phoebe Litchfield, Annabelle Sutherland, these are established stars in the women's cricket circuit, and they're all in these teams. And the top 2 T20 batters in the world, Georgia Wall and Beth Mooney, are part of this squad. So on paper, they have this really exciting and balanced squad. They have that depth as always, but the only question mark, or rather uncertainty, might be around their new captain, Sophie Molyneux, and how she carries herself and her team through the tournament. Australia have also gone with a spin-heavy side for this World Cup, and they did not pick Darcy Brown, who has played 41 T20Is for Australia. They haven't picked her. They went with 20-year-old Lucy Hamilton. She's a left arm quick, and that's an interesting snub, I think, for their team and their makeup. And they have at least six right arm pace options in this squad. But can this team do something really special? Because remember, this is the group of death. It has Australia, India, South Africa, and Pakistan as well. Let's talk about India, the reigning ODI world champions. They beat South Africa last year to finally win their maiden ICC trophy. So now that mental block is gone, that mental barrier that there's no ICC trophy yet, they have that. But they still don't have the T20 World Cup trophy. That is still missing. They came close in 2020, but they lost the final to Australia. And Harmanpreet Kaur, the captain of this side, she is such a veteran. She is such a seasoned cricketer. She's played in every edition of the T20 World Cup. So she knows the pressure, she knows these conditions. There's absolutely no doubt about the depth and the skill of this Indian team. Smriti Mandana is the vice captain, Shefali Verma at the top, Deepti Sharma and Renuka Singh carry the bowling, and Richa Ghosh is one of the most destructive wicketkeeper batters in the world right now. But here's the troubling part. India's recent T20 form has not been great. They just lost a T20 series to England right before this World Cup. 2-1, they lost the series. They also lost a 5-match T20I series to South Africa, 4-1 in April. So coming into this World Cup, they might not have the best recent record. And if you remember their last T20 World Cup in 2024, they did not make it to the knockouts. So even though on paper their team is really solid, you could say that they might be slightly less confident than they otherwise would have been. But again, they are the ODI champions. So there's that confidence as well. You've only recently lifted that trophy. They have a few uncapped players as well. So there's that X factor in this side as well. And of course, the established players are there. But again, Group A is going to be tough. So that is not the place where you want to be figuring things out. I think India definitely have it in them to cruise through to the knockouts. South Africa are carrying some baggage coming into this World Cup. They have those 3 ICC final losses. And no matter how good your team is going into a tournament, stats like these are so difficult to put behind you completely psychologically. But let's hope that doesn't happen, because South Africa are such a joy to watch. And every time you're watching them in a tournament, whether it's the women's team or it's the men's team, you just think, well, they're better than they were before. So this time there's nothing stopping them from lifting that trophy. The biggest news for this team is that 37-year-old Shabnim Ismail has reversed her retirement to play this World Cup. South Africa's all-time greatest T20I bowler. She's the highest wicket taker, 123 wickets from 113 games. She is so incredible, so lethal, and she's as quick as ever. And when you combine that with Marisa and Cap and Ayabonga Kaka, this is a serious pace attack. Their captain Laura Wohlwart is currently ranked number 3 in the T20 batter rankings. She has nothing to prove as a batter, but as a captain, she really wants to go one step ahead and close this tournament on a high. And I think she has it in her. Remember, they just beat India in a T20I series 4-1. And this squad really has a lot of match winners, a lot of proven T20 match winners. 8 players in this South African squad were part of the 2017 World Cup that took place in England. So they know the conditions. They've played so much cricket here. Can they finally rise to the occasion and lift that trophy, or will it be their 4th final without a cup? In Group B, we have New Zealand, and they are the defending champions. They lifted the 2024 T20 World Cup, and what a historic final that was, because there was no Australia, no England in that final. It was South Africa and New Zealand, and it was so iconic that the possibility of a brand new winner was there for the first time. And now they're back trying to defend their title. They're being led by Melly Kerr, who was the player of the tournament and the leading wicket taker in the last edition of the T20 World Cup. She's genuinely world class with both bat and ball, and she can really take New Zealand to the final again. She's that good. But looking at their squad, it's a team that is built around experience and execution. 10 out of the 15 players in this squad were part of the World Cup winning squad in 2024. Susie Bates, a legend of the format, New Zealand's all-time leading T20 run scorer. There's Maddie Green, Georgia Plymouth, Jessica with the ball. But there's also kind of an emotional storyline here. Sophie Devine and Leah Tahuhu have both announced that they will be retiring at the end of the tournament. Sophie Devine is one of the greatest openers the women's game has ever produced. Leah Tahuhu is a veteran pacer. She has so many iconic spells. So for New Zealand's team, this is going to be emotional. So they really have that added motivation to defend that title. So New Zealand are in Group B, which is considerably a little more comfortable than Group A. They should easily reach the semis, but repeating a T20 World Cup win is such a difficult thing to do. Can they do it? Well, they have the players, they have those same match winners. I think it's very much possible. Let's talk about the team that has the biggest advantage in this T20 World Cup, which is England, the home team. The last time they hosted the T20 World Cup, which was the inaugural edition, they lifted the trophy. So there's no doubt about the fact that they know these conditions better than anyone. 4 out of the top 6 T20I bowlers in the world right now are from England. Lindsay Smith, Lauren Bell, Charlie Dean, and Sophie Ecclestone. So their bowling is going to be absolutely lethal in their conditions. Nat Sciver-Brunt leads the side, and this is her 7th T20 World Cup as a player. So a lot of experience in that leadership, and she's one of the finest all-rounders in the world. So England have nothing to worry about when it comes to leadership. This English side really has the brightest chance to win the T20 World Cup because they have informed players, they have that home advantage, and they will have the crowd on their side. And also remember that they just beat India right before this World Cup, so they will have that confidence coming into the campaign. And they're placed in Group B, which is going to be a little easier than being in the group of death. But I think this English side is going to dominate, and they're not going to make it easy for anyone. Let's talk about Pakistan. Now, this is the part where I really want to be optimistic, but I also have to be honest. Pakistan have played in every edition of the T20 World Cup, yet they've never made it to the knockouts. So that group stage barrier for them has never been broken. Fatma Sana is leading the side for the second time in the T20 World Cup. We know that she is such an exciting player. She has that potential with the bat, not just potential. I feel like she's a solid batter. She doesn't really give herself enough time to bat out there, to be in the middle of the game. But she definitely is such a great talent with the bat and also with the ball. She's so disciplined, and those lengths she's bowling at, the speed she has, that authentic raw pace that she has. Genuinely, in English conditions, Fatma Sana is going to be one of the, I think she has the potential to be one of the most exciting pacers in this edition of the World Cup. But apart from her, the bowling attack looks okay. There's Sadia Iqbal. She's the second ranked T20I bowler in the world. She's the best spinner Pakistan currently have. And Diana Baig is also going to be leading that pace attack alongside Fatma Sana. The problem with Pakistan is really the batting, because the bowlers on paper are so solid. If they have enough runs on the board, they can really, really take the match away. But the problem comes with the batting. The middle order is a big question mark. You can't just expect your openers to give you those starts and then the rest of the batting lineup looks clueless, especially when Fatma Sana herself isn't promoting herself, or she's just limiting herself to a cameo role. And similarly for players like Alia Riaz and Iram Javed, when you're banking on such players who can play those cameos, but you don't really have enough stability in your middle order, I think oppositions can really, really expose you. Muniba Ali, the opener, has so much potential. She has 2 T20I hundreds, but she needs to be consistent if Pakistan have to make it past the group stage this time. Five players will be making their T20 World Cup debut, but at the same time, Pakistan also have established names who have been playing for a while. So they've got that good mix of youth and experience. Aisha Zafar, Gul Firoza, they've had a decent domestic run recently. They've scored at home. Can they carry that form into this T20 World Cup? Well, they will have to. But here's the fun part. Their first match is against India in Birmingham. But if they can really cause a stir early on in their campaign, that could really throw the group wide open. And they have that potential. It all comes down to players taking responsibility and not just relying on few moments of individual brilliance. So for Pakistan, this could really be the tournament where they can dare to dream. The English conditions will suit seam bowling and swing bowling, and I think that's where Pakistan, especially Fatima Sana, can really shine. Looking at the West Indies, the 2016 champions, it is such an exciting and chaotic team. Hayley Matthews is one of the most destructive all-rounders in the world right now. Deandra Doughton is also back in the fold. So this team really has some superb T20I players. You know, people say this a lot about the West Indian team, but it's really true. On any given day, they have the potential to flip the game around. The only question with West Indies is that do they have the consistency, or can they really show that consistency through their group games? It's not going to be just about one or two good games. Remember, now there are 12 teams, so the competition is really steep. Do they have it in them? I don't know, but they surely will be fun to watch. When you look at Sri Lanka, Chamari Atapattu is the main name there. She is one of the best, most destructive openers in the world right now. She's so exciting to watch. Such a fine player. But Sri Lanka's problem historically has been the depth beyond just Chamari's role. Do they have that depth in this tournament? It'll be a big question mark. If they can get Chamari Atapattu to fire early, I think they can really be on the verge of causing a stir in this group. And like any other team, this is their chance to dream, because the group stage has really leveled the playing field, so you can expect anything. Ireland, Scotland, Netherlands, and Bangladesh, all four of these teams made their spots in this T20 World Cup through the global qualifiers. This will be the first ever T20 World Cup for the Netherlands, and they have really invested in their women's cricket program, so it's going to be so exciting just to see them play at this stage. When you look at this World Cup, of course, Pakistan versus India is one of the most iconic clashes, but England versus Scotland is also going to be so historic, because for the first time ever, these two home nations will play on English soil. So for that game alone, expect thousands and thousands of people to show up. It's going to be so great, because England and Scotland have this really crazy sporting rivalry, and I can't wait to see how that unfolds into the women's cricket landscape. For Bangladesh, it's not going to be an easy ride, but they will have to show consistency. They have some amazing players in this side, like Dilara Akhtar and Shorna Akhtar. I think this is going to be very exciting and very transformative for Bangladesh and its women's cricket circuit. These tournaments are so important for the development of young players, and it's going to be so exciting to watch Netherlands, Scotland, Bangladesh, and Ireland fight it out and also enjoy playing at this level, because again, this is a historic World Cup. Time for my predictions. Here are my top two teams who I think are going to make the finals. I think India have a very solid chance of making it to the top two. Harmanpreet Kaur, she knows what it's like playing high pressure knockout games. And yes, their T20 form hasn't been great coming into this tournament, but you can never rule out India's preparation. Their bowling depth is so reliable for the English conditions. They have the firepower in their batting as well. They've got the match winners. Remember that they are in Group A, which has Australia and South Africa. So if they get across that line, if they qualify for the knockouts, they will already have beaten, or at least they would have been battle hardened by facing Australia and South Africa. So they would be coming into the knockouts so much more confident. Finalist number two, I think South Africa will make it to the final, but the only question mark with South Africa, like always, is that can they overcome that psychological barrier They've got those 3 losses on the back of their minds. Can they overcome that? That is the only question. That is the only thing that could stop them. Otherwise, this South African team is, holy moly, it's brilliant, it's beautiful, and it's made of so many complete match winners. And Shabnim Ismail coming back to play this World Cup, it should be a story. It will be a story. Right, guys, this was the Women's T20 World Cup preview, and these were my predictions. Let me know if you agree with my predictions, or if you have your own predictions, do drop them in the comments. I didn't tell you who I think would lift the World Cup because I still haven't made up my mind. I haven't seen them play enough this tournament. So it would be a bit premature, but I would love to know who you think will lift the World Cup. So do drop your names down in the comments, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because that's how I will keep making more videos for you. Thank you so much. Please hit like and comment and share this video around as well. Thank you for watching.